Welcome to this practice. I'm teaching this during a yoga psychology training weekend. This practice represents a morning practice in the vata window of the morning, coming into the kapha period of the morning. We're crossing two doshas there. We're also in the sattvic time of day, from the tamas, the darkness, to the sunrise. And I'm teaching this particular class during a winter weather event in Portland, Oregon, where it's freezing rain outside and it's very cold. So we have to take care of our vata dosha in this particular way. So as we get into the practice, if you have questions that come up, please leave comments down below the video, ask your questions down there. And if yoga teacher training interests you or yoga psychology training interests you, please leave us a comment down below the video and we'll get back to you with that information. Or you can check the URL that is on this page right here. Thank you, and let's get into the practice. See you there. Good afternoon, and welcome for this practice. We have been discussing how to orient a pranayama practice based on the gunas, that is, rajas, tamas, and sattva, and how to make choices that nourish the best outcome for your nervous system towards ventral vagal parasympathetic nervous system, and not to be overcome by your sympathetic nervous system or the dorsal vagal parasympathetic nervous system. In the afternoon, our body is going through a transition, body, brain, mind, and heart going through a transition that would move us towards a more kapha-esque evening. So the kapha dosha shows up in our daily cycle. If we were to say this at the equator, at the equinox, so middle path, the kapha part of the evening is from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And in that period of the evening, we would be doing activities that are nourishing, inward, grounding, connecting. We would be preparing for the off-ramp of the day. The sun has gone down and we're experiencing a time of reflection or contemplation or doing some crafts or connecting with our family, and we're moving towards a healthy experience of sleep. And then at the equator, at equinox, between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. is the pitta window of the night. And we would ideally be deeply asleep, the body doing housekeeping chores to cleanse the brain, the body, the lymph system for when we wake up in the morning, just before sunrise, around 6 a.m. So between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. is the vata window of the morning. So we go kapha, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., pitta, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m., and vata, 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. Ideally, we are sleeping in this pitta window and this vata window until just before sunrise, when we awaken for meditation. Right? So what to do in the afternoon, and why does that influence the evening in these three segments? Right. In the afternoon vata period, which is 2 p.m. to 6 p.m., many people experience dysregulation in the nervous system. They also experience that in their endocrine system. So stress hormones may be out of balance. Cortisol might be going up instead of going down. They may be planning to push through a work period, have dinner at their desk, forego family activities, and then scroll on the internet too late into the night and try to get a good night's sleep, disrupting their kapha, pitta, and vata experiences of their dosha. So when we're looking at breathing interventions to support people to bring their nervous system back to health and harmony, which is also going to help the digestive, immune, and endocrine system to come back to harmony, when we're going to make choices in the afternoon, we're looking at practices that bias langana, that is the pacifying, soothing kind of practice, or practices that support samana, a balancing experience of pranayama. If we do too many building practices, brahmana practices in the afternoon, sometimes people will feel too alert into the evening and they'll make choices for staying up later instead of being more inward and being prepared for a good night's rest by the time the pitta window comes around. So I want to help us use pranayama as kind of an off-ramp from a, let's say, sympathetic nervous system driven day into the evening. And the reason I want to address this is that many people in that sympathetic orientation during the day, that kind of urgency, frenzy, be productive, participate, do your duties in society, that kind of nervous system orientation. Many people are medicating that with dorsal vagal habits. That means things like alcohol, excess food, scrolling, trancing, TV, sort of passive activities that just come into the system there and dull the mind and body, but don't produce deep, restful sleep. So we have a society that's going between a sympathetic activation during the day and then kind of dorsal vagaling at night, not feeling wonderful about getting up in the morning for meditation or pranayama. And then getting up and turning to things like caffeine and news and things that excite the nervous system to then push again to get through the day. So that cycle ends up perpetuating itself. So one place that we can have an off-ramp in that cycle is how we address pranayama in the afternoon. Okay. So all that being said, let's now take a comfortable seat and rest your hands in your lap. Welcome to close your eyes and taking in whatever landed for you there as a kind of inspiration or information. Now let your mind rest and to make contact with your breath and your body. Notice how your body shows up energetically, what is alive, what's happening. Don't try to diagnose yourself. Don't evaluate or criticize, only observing. And see if you might observe with a loving attitude towards whatever your body, your mind, your emotions, whatever is being offered. Can you respond with a loving attitude? And when you respond with a loving or open attitude towards whatever is arising, how do those arisings change? You can imagine if you were to respond with an urgent or critical attitude, that would also have an influence. So notice if you respond, if you listen from a value of appreciation or curiosity or kindness, how do things respond within you? Now interlace your fingers, please, and imagine that you're holding your hands as a little bowl, resting at the second chakra. And let's picture that the quality in this little bowl that you're holding is like kindness or the attitude of kappadosha, one of love or nourishment or kindness or consideration. And as you inhale, raise this quality up towards your heart. And exhale and place that into your heart. And inhale, press the heels of your hands straight forward, pushing away that which is not love or kindness. And then exhale, squeeze in, open the upper back, chest, and heart. Inhale, press up. And exhale, press out, kind of clearing the sky of your mind. Create the space that surrounds you to be your own sovereign kind of retreat. Clasp your hands again. Inhale, raise this quality up to your heart. Exhale, place that loving kindness or generosity into your heart. Inhale, push away that which is not loving kindness. And then exhale, bring your hands to your heart, reinforcing the quality of kindness. Inhale, press up, sort of pushing up against whatever feels like it's burdensome. And then exhale, clear the windows of your mind. And do this one more time. Clasp your hands. Inhale, raise up that inner quality of love or generosity. Exhale, place that into your heart. Inhale, push forward. It's like you're protecting the space that you're creating. And exhale, reinforce for yourself that which is the most helpful attitude. Inhale, press up. And exhale, clearing the sky of the mind. And join your hands together at your heart. Okay, with your exhale, you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands, open your eyes. So in the daytime rush of the sympathetic nervous system, we call that the rajasic part of the day. In the nighttime collapse or slumber into darkness or behaviors that are more dulling, we call that the tamasic part of the day. It happens to be that this is the rajasic part of the day. We don't need to be in sympathetic overdrive, but we tend to take that on. It is the tamasic part of the day when we're in the night cycle. We don't need to have that be a collapse or into lethargy, but we do tend to adopt that. Between those two is sattva. So from rajas to tamas at sundown is the sattvic part of the day. And from tamas to rajas at sunrise is a sattvic part of the day. In the afternoon, one of the teachings that my teacher from Mysore gives all the time is simply pause to watch the changing light at the sunset. And that will regulate so much in your day because it represents a pause, a scenic turnout, an alignment with nature, the changing light in the sky. If you're able to be outdoors with that and to feel that shift of light, your body and brain are taking that in. It's adjusting your cortisol cycle and your melatonin. So those changes are according to nature. Since we don't all live in natural environments, which we can be outdoors, we can make these adjustments for ourselves using pranayama practices that help to reduce rajas and create healthy tamas to balance towards sattva. So as you're sitting right now, we're going to do a little twisting practice to help bring ourselves back down like a corkscrew to come back down into the pelvis. So bring your left hand across to your right knee. Place your right hand on the floor behind you. As you're twisting to your right, on the inhale, turn your head to your left and gaze over your left shoulder. And then exhale, turn your head to your right. Inhale, rotate left. Follow your exhale to rotate to your right. Follow the pace of your inhale and see if you might balance your inhale with your exhale. We'll do 2 more breath cycles like this. One more time, inhale, turn your head to your left. And exhale, rotate your head to your right. Come back around to center. The sympathetic nerve fibers up and down your spine are near to your diaphragm and your upper back. And so as you're twisting, we're kind of unwinding that habit a little bit. Walk your right hand across to your left knee. Your dorsal vagal fibers, the fibers that bring you down and sometimes inward and downward in an unhelpful way, but the ones that slow you down are in the lower back, right? And below the diaphragm and down towards the top of the sacrum. These are the nerve fibers that also innervate the organs. Okay, so as you inhale, gaze to your right. And exhale, gaze to your left. As you inhale, gaze right. So those of you who are paying attention to the polyvagal system through our teachings might then be able to surmise that the nerve fibers for your ventral vagal nervous system are up above the heart into the throat in that region. So they are the nerve fibers that operate your voice tone, your voice prosody, your facial affect. Do one more breath cycle. Inhale, turn your head to your right, of course, at your own pace. And exhale, rotate to your left. Come around to face forward. Quieting the sympathetic nervous system, eliciting ventral vagal, and nourishing the reason we have a dorsal vagal system, but not nourishing it into collapse, is a very important skill set to have. We're going to be doing a little forward bending right now, so check that you can have support for your head as you come forward and down. And I'm going to ask you to do it with your hands at the small of your back like this. Okay, so when you know what that is, if you need a block, if you need a blanket to be there, then go ahead and set that up. Now take the arms out to the side. And we're going to inhale, sweep the arms wide, rising up. Get a full torso inhalation. And then exhale and bow forward on purpose. Squeeze the lower belly to squeeze the end of the exhale out. Inhale, rise up, sweep the arms wide. Exhale, blowing the breath out slowly. Exhale through your nose. Tone the lower belly more and more deeply towards the end of the exhale. Inhale, rise up again at your own pace. And then rise up to your seat. And I'm going to give you an alternative way to do this practice that will help you to naturally lengthen the exhale and to blow off some steam from the day, whatever that steam was generated by. So when the exhale is longer than the inhale, your nervous system biases the parasympathetic response. Inhale is sympathetic, exhale is parasympathetic. And the balance of those two things is what we're referring to as heart rate variability. During inhale, sympathetic goes up slightly, that's on purpose. During exhale, parasympathetic is biased on purpose. So your heart rate variability, which is a key factor in mental and physical health, will show that you're breathing in a pretty healthy arc like that, not breathing like this, right? No heart rate variability there. So to lengthen your exhale, one of the techniques we can do is we blow the breath out through the mouth as the mouth is a little bit pursed. So we inhale, blowing out as if you're holding a tiny cocktail straw between your lips. So the breath is going to be automatically slowed down. There's going to be greater intra-abdominal pressure and tone required. And as we bow forward with that kind of exhale, you're going to have a longer exhale and then a complete exhale at the bottom. Okay, so let's try this out in your timing. Inhale. And then exhale. Inhale slowly. Exhale, blowing out. Breathe in. So you can imagine in the transition of the day from sympathetic into ventral vagal, that as we're slowly blowing the breath off, you're also blowing off the excess steam. That steam comes from the pitta dosha, that is the dosha of doing, the dosha of urgency. Let's do it one more time. So releasing that pitta dosha, so the nighttime is not overwhelmed by pitta. And then we would be able to sleep during the pitta cycle of the night. That is 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. Now rise up to sitting and rest your hands in your lap and just take notice. Okay, what is the feeling tone of the mind and also your body? Now, sometimes people have a very hard time letting go, like at the end of a workday or maybe the end of a meeting or a conversation. We have a very hard time. In our species, it's not easy for us to let go. As Rick Hansen likes to say, our brain is like Velcro for the negative things, and we tend to then filter for that, and it lands in us and we hold on to it to defend against, to protect against, maybe to go to fight or flight in the nervous system. And sometimes that activation then causes us later to need that dorsal vagal protective inward slump. Since we have a hard time letting go, we have to practice things that help us to facilitate that letting go. Unfortunately, Rick Hansen also describes that our brain is set up to be like Teflon for beautiful experiences or positive experiences. They slide right out. They don't stay long enough. And so as we blow off the attachment we might have to certain kinds of energy or angst, then we're going to welcome in the beneficial experience of silence or peace or tranquility. So one way to help with letting go is a practice called Bhastrika. If you need a transitional practice at the end of the day, if this movement that we just did, like, oh, that's so difficult to find yourself exhaling longer, that might be because your O2 CO2 ratio is not ideal. So let's do a little blowing off with Bhastrika. Practice letting go, not being attached, and then welcoming the beautiful experience of sattva dosha again. Guna. So it goes like this. This is rapidly done at the abdomen, focusing on the exhale, exhale, exhale with pursed lips. So like this. Now one long exhale. Now inhale, raise your arms up. A longer, slower inhale there. And then exhale, fold forward.
And relax your head to touch the floor. Allow your body to be at ease in this inward and downward position. Notice how your body breathes here. Generally, the inhale is going to expand across the back of the waist and the sides of the torso.
And then rise up to sitting. As you come up to sit, rest your hands in your lap and notice the effects of this little pranayama series that we just did. It's possible that your body will not feel like it needs a deep breath right now and that it's becoming more subtle. Within this practice, which is also part of a training program, you're hearing instructions from me. But if you were to do just the simple techniques that we have done, it would take you maybe 10 minutes to accomplish that. And that 10 minutes is a valuable way to take care of your nervous system because the effect can be quite profound. If you found that that blowing off technique helped you with lessening your attachment to fiery thoughts or emotions or behaviors, you could go directly to that to practice and then do something, the practice that preceded that, where we're inhaling and we're exhaling to fold forward, where you're lengthening the exhale, lengthening the exhale, lengthening the exhale. We did it in reverse order because some people don't need the blowing off technique. Their O2, CO2 balance may not be so dysregulated. But if you need that, if it medicinally helps you to get to that longer exhale practice, this one inhale, exhale, then you might do 2 or 3 rounds of that to get yourself ready. So this practice is to give you some skills and tools to build from, and then you can make them your own to have it as a portable way to nourish yourself. Maybe in the afternoon before you even leave your work site, right? Just find a place to do it before you're in traffic, before you're driving home, going past the convenience store or the fast food place or the I don't know, coffee drive-through. Now, having landed where we are, let's take the next practice, which is going to pick up these nerve fibers in the throat related to ventral vagal parasympathetic nervous system, related to the sattva dosha. We're going to practice chanting the sounds of the Bij mantra for the first chakra. Let me change the settings on my microphone. Okay, so this practice uses vibration, sound, supporting the throat chakra, supporting your ventral vagal nervous system. But it's also toning the lower belly and lets us connect to this lower dantian. The dorsal vagal nerve fibers are down in this region. So you're kind of calming those nerve fibers right now versus needing to sedate them later. So put the first finger and the thumb together. The sound is lam, L-A-M. We'll chant it rhythmically 4 times, and there'll be a certain pace to that. And then you'll hear me change that pace slightly, and then we'll come back to a pace that's longer and slower, like this. Lam, 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 lam. Ujjayi, inhale. Lam, 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 lam. Ujjayi, inhale. Lam, 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 lam. Lam, 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 lam. Lam, 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 lam. Lam, 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 lam. Lam, 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 lam. Now bring your hands into a bowl shape, the right hand resting on the left hand. Come to the second chakra. First chakra is the earth element and a place of grounding. Second chakra is the water element, a place of nourishment, connection. Wam, 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 wam. Wam, 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 wam. Wam, 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 wam. Wam, 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 wam. Wam, 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 wam. Wam, 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 wam. Wam, 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 wam.
So Kapha dosha is made of the earth and water elements. So we have nourished the Kapha dosha and also vagal tone. So we'll sit quietly and let that simmer. Allow your mind to rest in the stillness, the inwardness of the Kapha dosha. Remind yourself that stillness is not the same as dullness. So the mind is clear, spacious, but not attached,
nor generating a to-do list, but simply resting, the simplicity of the present moment. And please raise your hands to your heart. And thank you very much. May you feel grounded and nourished. Namaste. Another key blessing, may you now move into an evening, for example, where you are not misusing food and other activities to meet the unmet needs of the day. So unmet needs mentally, emotionally, physiologically, spiritually. Food cannot really meet those needs at our deepest core, nor can other things meet those needs if they aren't designed to meet that, like alcohol or scrolling or, internet surfing. We have deeper needs, and when we're connected like this into the kapha dosha and our sattvic mind returns, may we meet those deeper needs in ways that are actually meeting the needs for solace or inspiration or connection, or let's say prayerfulness, or needs for learning, or a desire to be engaged in something that's mentally inspiring and energizing for you, but not ungrounding, not anxiety producing. Maybe learning another language, or taking on a creative project, or connecting with friends about your emotional or spiritual journey, or communing with nature if you're in a place in the season of the year where you can do that. So may we now transition, having had a practice like this, into evenings that are nourishing and not misuse other activities to try to meet unmet needs in a way that can't be done. So thank you once again. Okay. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your practice with me and with the community. If this practice has been helpful to you, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, where you'll get notifications for when more content comes out. And also hit the like button to give me feedback that the practice was helpful or meaningful to you. It's also wonderful when you leave a comment down below the video. My hope is to keep making content to support your yoga practice and the understanding of yoga, yoga psychology, yoga therapy. So any support is welcome by way of comments, likes, shares, and subscribes. Thank you so much. Namaste.